Person one loves person two. Guess what? Shenanigans ensue. Person one hates person two. Guess what? Still shenanigans ensue. Person one fake dates person two. Guess what? You guessed it. Shenanigans ensue. Co-host one reports to co-host two. The name of the show? Shenanigans ensue. Yeah. Hello, I'm Jasmin.
And I'm Jane, and welcome to Shenanigans Ensue.
A podcast where we're happy to get the kind of money that jingles, but we'd rather get the kind that folds.
My money don't jiggle, it folds. Stuck in my head the whole time. Each episode we'll watch a rom-com and discuss its merits as a member of the rom-com genre.
We'll cover well-worn classics, hidden gems, and everything in between.
We'll give you our unsolicited opinion on every trope, caper, and flim-flam the film used, or maybe abused.
And of course, the Shenanigans.
This is Jasmine's birthday episode. Your birthday's tomorrow. Happy birthday.
Yay. Thank you. It's my birthday. Yeah.
And as is tradition on the pod, and somehow with our guests as well up till now.
Yeah, how?
I don't, the birthday person gets to pick the film we cover.
That's right.
So what have you brought us, Jazz?
Well, to kick off the holiday season, I'm picking a sleeper rom-com that is also low-key a holiday film you didn't realize was the 1988 classic, Coming to America.
A classic, which I haven't seen, so we have the chance of Jazz knowing what's going on and me coming in totally blind.
Which I think is the first time this has happened, because I'm usually the one who misses things.
What a treat!
Yay! Okay, so I know this movie is typically not considered a holiday movie, but technically the McDowells have a Christmas party, and therefore I've decided to make this my holiday starter.
To be honest, it went completely over my head. I was so distracted with all the other shenanigans happening at that party that it did not register.
It's like the least important thing about the party. And then they make a very, very tiny veiled reference to the holidays being over when James Earl Jones shows up to pick up his son. So, like, it's just barely holidays. But I'm still pigeonholing it in because it makes it technically a holiday movie, and it's my pick, and I love it. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so I've seen it. What are your initial thoughts?
Ooh, there is a lot. I think the movie is just a lot to begin with.
Yeah.
What a lot of hijinks. Eddie Murphy, it didn't even register until much later that he was playing multiple roles.
Yeah.
That was crazy. I think that's the first time he's done this, if I'm correct.
I think so. Honestly, this is one of his earliest films as well. I believe he did like a couple of things maybe before this, and I think his time on Saturday Night Live was slightly before this, but this was his moment to do the rom-com.
I see.
He had done comedies and like other stuff before that, and I think this is the first time they gave him a bit of sweetness.
I see. It's like they just almost threw having to ask for permission out the window with this film.
Yeah.
Because some of the stuff is like really wacky.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's a lot of visual gags. There's some stuff that was, as someone watching it for the first time in the 21st century, was really hard for me to watch. And then also as someone who's from the continent of Africa, like I have a lot of things. So it's like, it was a very interesting experience, but overall a very funny film.
To be fair, they're from the very made-up place Zamunda. So it's not based off of anything. No. It's a whole load of hot bullshit.
Of course it is.
So funny.
It was an interesting experience. A lot to like and a lot that was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this. You know.
And again, I said it earlier, keep in mind, it is 1988.
Of course, absolutely. That's part of it, because that's what you come up against often when we cover more classic movies that you haven't seen.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is constantly having to remind oneself, this was a big deal in 1988.
Yeah.
To have a cast of 99.99% Black actors,
Yeah.
you know, and to have it not being poverty porn, like to just have a basically joyful story is really important.
Yep. I'm really happy to have joyful films with people of color.
Yeah, when did you see it first?
I probably saw it first in like high school or something and hadn't watched it for a while. I watched it again like last year, which is what put it into my brain. Oh yeah, this is a holiday movie technically. I'm going to make this my birthday episode, and I've been sitting on it for like a whole year.
No way, Die Hard is a holiday film.
And I won't hear otherwise. And it's also, if I remember correctly, Eddie Murphy was given the opportunity to write a lot of this stuff or have a lot of creative input in this film in a way that he wasn't given that permission in his previous films. And so it also has the context of he's been playing a slightly racist character for the white gaze on his other films so that everyone can laugh, like Hollywood Cop and Trading Places. And this was an opportunity for him to have more of a say and to make this something that he felt proud of. It's a cool thing in that context.
Yeah, it's so rare. It's such an anomaly, especially in that time. And even now, really, it's not the norm.
Oh, another fun fact is that iconic dance scene at the beginning before the wedding that doesn't actually take place.
Before the reveal of his bride.
Yeah, that whole scene is actually choreographed by Paula Abdul.
That's so wild.
Right? Now that I've given you a bunch of information about how much I really enjoy this film, I will give you a plot synopsis.
Yes, let's do the plot synopsis.
On his 21st birthday, Prince Akeem is expected to wed the bride chosen for him at birth.
However, he decides to go to America to find true love.
There, he takes up a job where he meets Lisa, whose father owns the restaurant where they both work. Shenanigans ensue!
Arguably, the shenanigans ensue way before he even lays eyes on Lisa.
The shenanigans ensue from the very beginning, before people are even speaking, really.
But we'll get to the shenanigans in good time. Let's hit those tropes first.
Okay. So, trope-wise, we've got fish out of water. We have hidden identities.
Ooh.
We have prince and commoner. We have music doing the most.
The most.
I wrote that a few times thinking of you. And we have a makeover. It's so dumb.
The makeover is so funny.
We have a very messy love triangle square pentagon.
Yeah. Messy love life for sure.
We've got best friends. Sort of.
Kind of.
We have
question mark, addendum, saboteur.
I know, it's like kind of yes, kind of you pay him.
Yeah.
We've got a dramatic chase.
Very dramatic.
And boy, oh boy, do we have montages, baby. Okay, so obviously we're just going to start at the top montage, right?
Of course.
Yeah, which is the Prince Akeem is hella rich. Let's look at the ways he's rich montage.
It was actually one of my favorite parts of the film. This extra over-the-top way to be woken up in the morning. It's just so ridiculous.
It's so funny that they take out, what is that, like a 6-piece string?
I think it's more. I was like, is it a whole orchestra? Are we going to pull back to reveal like the entire orchestra? No. They restrain themselves because it's just for him to wake up.
Yeah. And we're going to do all that for his wake-up call? Get the fuck out of here, guys. That's so funny.
They're messing with your expectations as well, because I was fully expecting, we're going to zoom out, we're going to be in a concert hall or something like that. No, the reveal is he's lying in his bed with his hands neatly clasped because it is time to be awoken, like the prince he is.
And then he has not one, not two, but thrice flower attendants. I'm just going to use it incorrectly because I want to say thrice instead.
Thrice the amount of attendance.
And then literally, he doesn't even bathe himself.
No, he asks for permission.
He stands in a large pool.
May I perhaps bathe myself?
And he's not allowed to.
Mm-mm.
Even at the end of this montage, sitting on opposite ends of an extraordinarily long table from his parents, the act of getting up
So funny.
sends all the flower attendants scrambling to throw flowers at his feet, just so that he can walk over and address his parents face to face and not through the stupid intercom they have set up at the dining table.
What does the king say? No son of mine should have to walk on the bare floor.
So funny.
I wonder what the budget on rose petals must be for the palace. It must be insane.
Genuinely. And it's so funny because then I think about this insane amount of excess. But given the context of what they've created, when he yells, like, I don't want flowers anymore, and then the king is like, yes, no more flowers, and they all go running off, I was like, you just got 3 people fired, my guy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a cushy job. All I gotta do is walk around and throw flowers and look pretty. Done.
What kind of benefits are we talking?
It's gotta be better than a lot of the other options in
for
whatever
sure.
made-up country.
Yeah.
That we're living in.
So I love the rose petal throwers and the roses throughout. But then what I really loved was when the king and queen and all the attendants arrive in search of Akeem, but he's not there. And then Akeem comes back to the apartment and he sees all the rose petals on the steps. And he's like, oh, my father is here.
I forgot.
Something so innocuous that then becomes foreboding.
The barbershop guy was right. Who's
Right?
gonna clean up these rose petals?
No one.
Dude.
They were still there.
Played yourself, king. I also just cannot emphasize enough that James Earl Jones, aka Mufasa, can just speak soothingly to me whenever. I just love him being at the table trying to give words of wisdom. I close my eyes and imagine an animated lion just speaking to me. I love that guy's voice so much.
He could even say some of the quotes because he's once again playing a king.
That's why.
Everywhere the light touches is our kingdom.
I literally cannot envision him any other way. Just because it's the same character, essentially.
Basically.
This precedes The Lion King, though, I think.
Indeed, it does, yeah. By 6 years.
Yeah. There was other ones.
The other montages?
Yeah.
It's the inappropriate women.
Oh my god, the dating!
Yes.
The dating in the club montage. That one's pretty funny. Those were not good fits.
No. But whoever advised him to go to the club as well was misguided.
Literally. He was in Queens. He was probably like, where do I meet women? And some guy was like, hey, you go to the club. I don't know where that guy was from, Boston, so not that guy, but whatever, equivalent. There was also just the random him figuring out his life montage-ish, working at the McDowell's.
Oh my gosh, the McDowell's. Was there another one? I can't think of if there was another one.
Yeah, I guess not necessarily specifically, but those two are really funny, and the opening one is really so excellent.
The opening one was my favorite.
So good.
I wanted to talk about the makeover in quotation marks.
Oh my gosh.
That subversion tickled me way more than it should.
I genuinely would not have considered this a makeover, but you're absolutely right in the funniest way.
So Akeem goes to the barber shop where all these antics have been happening throughout, and he says he thinks it's time to get rid of his princely tail or string or whatever it was he calls it.
Yeah, he has a rat's tail in the back of his head.
Yeah, that's been decorated and he's been growing since birth. And the barber reaches out and cuts the tail off and just chucks it. And the way Eddie Murphy is hamming it up.
Yeah.
It's as though it was a 3-hour-long transformation.
He like looks in the mirror as if he's a changed man.
Yes, and he like strokes his head where the tail used to be, and he's like, yes, now I will fit into America.
And the guy's like, that'll be $7.
Yes.
Is that Arsenio Hall's double body?
I don't know.
The men in the barbershop are just other characters from the movie dressed as older men.
In old drag.
Yeah, I can't remember which one's which, but truly, I think that might just be Arsenio being like, and that'll be $7. I would like to talk about the love triangle square pentagon.
Oh my goodness. So messy.
So messy. We hate Darryl. Jerry Curl guy.
He did such a good job because I wanted to punch him in the face.
Literally. Oh yeah, I wrote Jerry Curl jerk off.
Oh, nice.
Darryl is so funny as a character. He's
Yes.
just overly full of himself for literally no reason. He possesses a level of confidence that I aspire to have myself.
Because his level of confidence is so unearned.
Fully unearned.
Like when Akeem attacks the guy who's trying to rob the restaurant, and Daryl's just like, good job with the guy. I would have helped you, but I was holding a cup of coffee. You understand, right?
Oh my gosh. And not just any guy. It's a young Samuel L. Jackson.
Exactly. I buried the lead there. I know Samuel L. Jackson from when he was much, much, much older, when I became acquainted with his work. I think the first thing I saw him in was the Star Wars movies.
Oh, wow.
To be honest. And then I texted Jazz and I was like, wait, is that Samuel L. Jackson?
And I was like, you bet your ass it is.
What a little baby fish.
And my favorite thing about that whole sequence is this young Samuel L. Jackson has come in to hit up the McDowells, which is a bootleg McDonald's that
So
is gonna
funny.
be litigated into oblivion. And he's got a shotgun. The whole thing gets messed up. And then after it's all done, Mr. McDowell, the man who owns the shop and is Lisa's father, says, we've been hit by that fella 5 times, but I have a feeling he won't be back. Like, you guys have just let him steal from you 5 times. It just keeps happening.
And to be clear, this man's face is not covered in any way, shape, or form.
No.
Like, he's so easily identifiable. What are you doing?
Like, he just keeps coming back with a shotgun. You just keep giving him the money from the register.
My
You just, like,
word.
have a contingency fund for this man. So funny.
You don't even have, like, a wanted poster up in the restaurant.
Yeah, no, do not serve.
If you see this man, call the police.
Yeah. And then, like, since we're just really quick on a cameo, one of the people sitting in the barbershop at the very beginning, young Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yes!
Crazy. He doesn't even have lines, I don't think. He's
No.
just sitting in the barbershop chair. He's like a glorified extra in this film. That's how early this is.
It's so funny.
Anyway, back to crazy Darryl. Darryl's such an ass. Like,
Mhm.
he oscillates between unearned confidence and being so insecure with his position with Lisa that he has to, like, peacock his chest puffing at the basketball game where Prince Akeem is getting a handy from Lisa's sister.
Wild.
It's all so insane.
Speaking of Lisa's sister, so messy.
What a messy bee. I love her.
And she's like sort of indicating she wants to be courted by Akeem.
Yeah.
But then when she goes to his apartment and he's not there, starts making out with the best friend.
Yeah.
And when Akeem arrives, she's just like, I'm with the prince. He told me the truth.
Girl, you got played. Oh, honey baby.
Oh, sweetie pie.
Yeah, so it's just so funny to watch Lisa navigate her toxic relationship with Darryl while having feelings for Prince Akeem,
Yeah.
while trying to set up her sister with Prince Akeem,
It's a lot going on.
while Semi is also just trying to get laid by anybody. Ridiculous.
The added way of how messy all of this is at the party.
Oh my gosh. They show up at the party. Darryl goes to ask Mr. McDowell for his daughter's hand in marriage.
Yeah.
And then instead of actually asking Lisa,
Woof.
they make the announcement that she said yes.
That's so rough.
Oh my god. She didn't say yes, my guy.
You didn't even ask. What was your plan? Did you just think she would be so delighted she wouldn't? Look, even if I wanted to say yes, I would be pissed off that it happened in this way, right?
I would be pissed off, even if I actually liked you. And she's
Yeah.
already like...
On the fence about it.
And when Lisa runs outside, Darryl says to her, quote, "But baby, it's our engagement party." Sir.
No, it wasn't.
Sir.
You co-opting this party.
And it can't be your engagement party if you didn't ask her.
Good grief. Where's the ring? You're supposedly so rich. My guy.
I can't.
And so when Lisa's on the swings and Akeem comes to check on her, you can see the feelings are developing more, but then she says like, oh, and my sister really likes you. So it's just this messy dance between all the characters. Because Akeem's like, oh, I should say congratulations. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, so rough.
And also, like, the context of this holiday party is so outrageous. This is all the night after or the night of Samuel L. Jackson trying to rob the store.
Yes.
And so Mr. McDowell has pulled Semi and Prince Akeem aside to, quote, invite them to a party. Everyone thinks, oh, because they've done such a good thing for the store.
Exactly.
He's inviting them to the holiday party.
Nope.
No, he invited them to be the help at the party.
Here's the invite to the party, or quote invite. It's in the same paragraph. He's like, oh, you guys did really good with this. Listen, keep tomorrow night free. I'm having a little shindig at my house. Anyone would think you being invited to a party.
As a guest.
As a guest. Smash cut to these two guys standing in the cold and the snow outside. And he's like, yeah, so just park everyone's cars, and when you're done, come help wash up inside.
So now they're in their little red outfits, and while Prince Akeem is like tending the bar area and making sure everyone's champagne glasses stay full, Darryl shows up to be weirdly aggressive again at the bar. The machismo is so uncomfortable.
He's so insecure.
Yeah, it's just gross. Like right before he goes to propose without proposing.
Manipulate to proposing.
Oh gosh. It could not have been a messier situation for the entire thing.
Oh, we have to do music doing the most.
Oh, absolutely.
My word.
Give me your highlights.
This is a different kind of music doing the most, because it wasn't coming so much from the editing as from the characters within the film itself.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean by that is that we have the attendant at the beginning with the entrance for the bride. We have him singing this full-on made-up song about the bride and how she'll serve Akeem because that's her role as the bride. Like, it just goes on and on and on. And then the other instance was the... Oh, what was the name of the product that they put in their hair?
Oh, I don't remember now. The Jerry curl gel?
Yes, that. It went so hard, the commercial. And that's where Akeem also got the idea to go to the barbershop to change his look.
Yeah.
And then we have in the town hall as well.
Oh my gosh, that crazy singing.
Big band called Sexual Chocolate, first of all. What is the identity of this group? Because he proceeds to give a very impassioned rendition of I Believe the Children Are Our Future.
Wasn't that Darryl?
No, I think it may be one of the main guys playing a different character.
Oh yeah, that's what...
And then the last instance, it's kind of indicative of this movie winking at the audience or being self-aware in certain aspects.
Yeah.
Is when Akeem and Lisa are on their date and they start dancing together and the music plays.
Oh gosh, it's so funny. This is where I wrote down music doing the most because I thought of you here.
Yes, exactly. Because first of all, that already hitting you over the head with the song choice.
Too much.
And then on his little wander home, Akeem starts singing the song that they were dancing to, like someone to kiss,
so funny,
someone to miss.
But he's screaming
Literally
it, and New Yorkers
screaming.
are trying to sleep and they're pissed. Shut the fuck up! Shut up! I'm trying to sleep.
It's very seldom, I find, in a film that the characters are aware of the songs that are playing.
Yeah.
Especially for like a particularly romantic moment.
And especially for that time period, that wasn't
Mhm.
something that was done as often then. It's
Yeah.
done all the time now, that the actual background music is actually the song playing in the car or what have you.
But like the fact that the characters then also referencing the music.
Yeah.
Because as people, we do that. That's such a human thing to do.
Yeah, especially now that he's made a memory association. This is when he
Yeah.
first got to dance with Lisa. Of course he's gonna walk home singing this song, reliving the moment.
Very cute.
I also have one more music doing the most.
Yes.
At the very, very, very beginning of the film, the song that is playing is from the group Ladysmith Black Mambazo.
Yeah.
Which is the same music group that Katie Heron does not go to see when she has the party at her house during Mean Girls. Which is a very stupid, obscure reference that I super love. The whole entire film and all of the shenanigans hinge on the hidden identity prince versus commoner thing.
Oh, yeah.
So,
absolutely.
Unless you want to touch on that dramatic chase, we could just jump right into the shenanigans.
Yeah, let's jump into the shenanigans.
Hell yeah. This stuff is so funny. The fact that Prince Akeem refuses to let people know that he's a prince, he wants to find someone in an authentic way,
Yeah.
is so funny. And Semi hates it.
I was so confused as well. Like, I understand the impulse to want to be loved just for you, but I'm also like, that's really burying what this person is getting themselves into. Like, it's all well and good to want someone to love you for who you are, but you also happen to be a prince, and a lot comes with that.
Yeah.
Not everyone is up to the task, and that doesn't mean you love someone any less, but it's a big ask.
Yeah, that's a moment of informed consent. Like, someone needs to know the other side of that as well.
Because you think you're getting into a relationship with the nice guy who works at your father's restaurant, or who owns a Christmas tree farm, or is the janitor at your school, and that's a different life.
Yeah. All of the shenanigans about the father being so weird about him marrying, quote, below his station.
Oh my word.
It's all very interesting. I'm glad that obviously the mom steps in to tell him he's being an idiot, but it creates a real wrench at the end. The king has irreversibly offended Lisa that they won't be able to get married.
Yeah, it was also a very interesting commentary on how status in society works, because Mr. McDowell was looking down on Akeem, but then when he comes to realize that he's a prince who has his own money.
Right, his face is on the money.
No, he literally has his own money. How his attitude switches completely.
Not only does it switch, the way that he had already called Darryl to come to the house and try to make up with Lisa.
Oh, that was so funny.
And then Darryl shows up at the house and he answers the door. It's like, he like runs to the door, and then there's Darryl.
With roses.
Oh gosh, slams the door, goes back. And then he's trying to make sure that Akeem and Lisa have a moment. He's like, no, don't leave. And then doorbell again. Goddamn Darryl, get the hint.
She doesn't want you.
No means no. Slam the door again.
Get it through your head.
He runs back inside and just like, yep, here we go. Let's get you some food. Let's do this and then that, whatever. Ding dong, one more time. Rule of threes. Attack Poodle Dottie gets sent on Darryl to run him off.
The poodle of all of the creatures in the universe.
And not a standard poodle. This is a toy poodle.
She is fully going for grooming on a regular basis.
This is not a scary dog.
This tiny little fluff ball
Hilarious.
who's being sicked on the suitor, and he was so confused.
The way Mr. McDowell is kissing up so hard to the king and queen when they do arrive at his house, it seems like he is willing to do anything for some cold, hard cash until the king insults his daughter. He gets offered a cool $1 million, I think maybe even $2 million for, quote, their trouble.
Yeah.
And he's like, get the hell out of my house. You do not put a price on my daughter. All right, Dad.
Okay.
Okay.
Taking a stand.
Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah.
There's a limit. which I thought was really sweet.
He has a line. At least he has a line.
He will pimp his daughter out to the richest man he thinks that she can marry, but he will not literally accept money.
Two of the shenanigans I want to touch on are when they first are deciding where to go in America for Akeem to find his bride. And they're like, this land is so big.
There's infinite options. Where shall we go?
LA or to New York City.
Yeah, literally though, like if you're rich, you're really not going somewhere else. So.
Yeah.
And then right after they decide on New York.
Oh, yes.
He's like, so where in New York do we go? Ah, yes. Where will we find your bride? In Queens. Shut up, you guys.
Stop it.
That's so funny.
I'm a king looking for a queen, so.
Therefore, Queens. I'm dead.
It's so dumb.
It makes perfect sense.
This is how the logic has been logicking. Like, you've set it up that way.
Literally.
And then the other one is when Akeem sends Lisa these very expensive earrings. And he says from a secret admirer, not Darryl.
Which is really important because while they were at the fundraiser, Akeem drops in a fat stack of cash that then gets low-key attributed to Darryl because Lisa's an idiot.
Not low-key, high-key.
Because Lisa insinuates, would you know where that came from? And then Darryl's a fucking asshole who lies. So Lisa starts the low-key thing and then he high-key steals the glory. It's so funny.
And it's explicitly shown that Darryl isn't putting anything into the collection.
Right, I forgot. So many visual gags. Oh, another silly shenanigan of the Prince versus Commoner is when they are at the basketball game, Prince Akeem has to go to the bathroom, and while he's waiting in line, one of the concession sellers recognizes his prince in the line.
He's so excited.
And loses his mind. He starts like getting on the floor, he prostrates himself, he wants a picture. Lisa and her sister see the picture happening and are very confused about the situation. She just seems to believe that Akeem has this effect on people. But it's just like all these little moments of the reality of his princeliness kind of come out in the edges of his life, whether or not he wants them to. And he just keeps trying to squish them back down.
Oh, it must be such a nightmare trying to do that.
Do you have another one?
Oh, who tells Akeem that he shouldn't bother trying to woo Lisa? He should ingratiate himself with the father.
Oh, I think it must be one of the barbershop guys.
Yes, I think you're right. And so Akeem is trying to bond with Mr. McDowell by saying, like, did you watch the sports game last night? He's like, which one? And he just goes on this ramble, and it's so funny, it's so weird. And Mr. McDowell is basically like, just a tip. Lay off the drugs if you want to succeed here.
It's so funny.
Because he's behaving so erratically.
Oh, another shenanigan that I super, super love is towards the end when Mr. McDowell has realized who Akeem is and he's on the phone with his father. Number one, he's in the office at the fake McDonald's. His phone is a hamburger. And then after he hangs up his hamburger phone, which the burger has been folded open in the middle and he slams it closed to hang it up, he has on the desk an oversized McDonald's manual that he's reading through for the fake McDonald's McDowell's restaurant that he has.
So wild.
He's literally stolen trade secrets. Like, this man is going to prison. It's so funny.
That restaurant does not exist anymore.
He got litigated into the ground.
But it's fine. Oh, another visual gag was when they're arriving at the airport and they're dressed in their regalia.
Yeah.
I mean, they're looking fly AF.
Yeah, truly.
Like, what a look.
The fit is fitting.
Yes. And they're strutting through the airport and they're like, we must try and be as inconspicuous and incognito as possible. Camera pulls away and it's a whole procession of attendants, each with an airport trolley loaded with luggage, like stacked.
Which they somehow strap to the back of a regular sized taxi, get all the way to Queens with, and then leave at the stoop to have stolen by the neighborhood people. people. And then also just, like, getting to this apartment building and being like, I would like your shittiest room, please. Does it look poor? And, like, the constant conversations with the landlord are so funny to me.
He has to keep up appearances
Yeah.
of being poor.
At one point, he leaves to go set up a date with Lisa. He tells Semi to tidy up. And instead of tidying up, Semi goes out and spends a boatload of cash to get a bunch of cool equipment and an indoor hot tub, a waterbed.
Like, that's a vibe.
Oh my God. And so Lisa's outside and the whole place doesn't look like a poor person's place and he freaks out.
And then he goes to switch with the landlord.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
He's like, Semi decided to buy too many things. It's too nice here. I need it to look poor. And the landlord's like, oh, okay, listen, well, I'll trade with you if you need the help. So he's like, does your apartment look poor? And he's like, yeah, it's a real shithole. Everything about that is so funny to me.
The hijinks.
Unless you have anything else, I have a good one to finish us off.
I want to hit some of the Africa stuff and then we can finish off on a high note. Okay, so I'll run through it pretty quickly. Like, if anyone's listened to the blended stuff, you know some of my feelings about the portrayal of Africa in Hollywood. Now, it's not in the same league because it's a made-up place, so I do get that, much like Wakanda. And I also understand it was the 80s, so times were very different. One of the things that was weird to me was like, we in Africa, why are so many people speaking with a British accent? Like, I know colonization be colonizing, but so many people had a British accent.
That's so funny.
And then the women were in this beautiful traditional dress and the men were in white tie. So I just want to know more of the history of this made-up country.
Right? Zamunda has a rich, storied past.
And despite the heavy influence, there's not a mixed person to be seen.
That's because they pushed the colonizers out.
And kept the accent.
Correct. They no longer exist within this perfect nation state.
It was so weird to me.
It's really dumb. And the only thing that saves it is that they've made up an entire fake country.
Because one of the things is how things have improved in terms of doing that. So Wakanda's made up, but you can see that a lot of care was taken to research certain places in Africa in terms of how the people speak, how they dress, things like that. So a way to have maybe done this, which someone didn't perhaps consider at the time, was to pick a place on the continent of Africa.
Oh, yeah, to draw influence from.
To say like, okay, we're going to have this place bordering Kenya, or it's next to Ethiopia. Because something that did stick out to me that would have been helped with research was with the choreography, that dance right at the beginning. It was so weird for me how quiet the audience was. That would never happen. Like, people are not watching a performance in silence. Like, even depending on the kind of show you go to here in the theater, people will be ululating, clapping, cheering, going on. And it was so strange to be watching this dance with a dead silent audience. Like, nowhere in the entire continent would that ever happen.
That's because Paula Abdul demands your respect.
But it's respectful to ululate. It's respectful to cheer.
No, I agree with you. It's because Paula Abdul is a known diva.
That emphasize the enjoyment you're participating, right?
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
It took me a while to figure out what it was, and then I realized so many parts in this film where you are in the made-up African country, it's quiet, and that's weird. Like, it's weird that it's quiet. Like, I needed more sound, which is so ironic to say because, you know, we have music doing the most and we have the barbershop guys being so loud. Like, it's so loud in so many ways. And then in some places where it needs to have noise, the noise is absent. That's all. I'll leave it at that. For further dissertation, you can contact me privately. Okay, bring us home with the fun shenanigan.
I just think it would be fun to end off with the adorable late night walk and date with the two of them.
Oh, so cute.
Just like some of the actual details aside from music doing the most.
Yes.
It's just really nice to see young Eddie Murphy in this very touching role and having like this beautiful little walking scene.
I love a late night walking scene with good chemistry.
Yeah. We have Sherry Headley, who's playing Lisa, and she's just so lovely. She's so sweet. She's a little bit naive, but not so much that you're worried about her. She's very trusting. And so she's just always giving him the benefit of the doubt. She comes with this like open heart mentality that you can really see in that scene. And it's also just really funny that he gets so mad at Semi for having spent all that money that he took the rest of his spending money, which was way too much money, and then has given it to a homeless man.
Yeah.
And now sweet Randolph and Mortimer are going to start their business back up and have invited Prince Akeem to lunch. It's just a very cute scene while still managing to infuse itself with more comedy as well.
And the fact that, I mean, obviously he's trying to hide his identity as well, but when she asks him, what did you give that man? And he's like, oh, just some loose change.
Yeah, I forgot. Technically, yes. But
yeah, technically.
for you.
But your casual spending and the rest of the population's casual spending.
We're on a different level here.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny and it's so sweet. Oh, and then after everything had gone wrong, after this really touching subway scene, after Lisa gives back the earrings because he's broken her heart through the lies and deception, we think that it's over for them, and we think Prince Akeem has gone back to Zamunda, to his prearranged marriage like his father wanted. And then he gets there, and he pulls the veil off of his bride, and it's Lisa.
Surprise bride reveal.
Yay! We have a happy ending.
Yay.
I'm glad that they managed to make that work. It's like a bit of a Deus Ex Machina at the end,
Yeah.
but like we're all happy to have it.
Yeah, you buy it. You're happy to see them together.
Yeah.
There's very little time of the film left.
They just needed to wrap her up.
Yeah.
And I also just love, as sweet and as lovely and as much as she never cared about the money, at the very end when he's like, we can get rid of all of it if you want,
Mhm.
Lisa was like, nah.
Yeah.
That's right, girl. You hold your bag. Well, that brings us to a fun fab fail. Based solely on the fact that I could keep watching this once a year, I'm going to go with a soft fab. I know it has its issues. I do. It's from 1988, but I gotta go with a soft fab. I do love this movie.
I'm going a bit differently. I'm going with a very of the times slang. I'm going with a fat. P-H-A-T.
That's fun.
Because I can't remove myself from the fact that I haven't seen this film as part of my childhood. So it's not embedded in there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's super fun. I think it's super important in terms of the history of filmmaking.
Yeah.
I think there's so many risks taken in this film as well.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot of fun with the visual gags, but there's some stuff that I just can't. Like, I felt so terrible for the bride of Prince Akeem. It just felt so degrading. I felt so bad for that character.
Yeah.
And then with Lisa herself, she only shows up in like minute 42 of the film. So it's a really long time to go without seeing the romantic lead. So it's just little things like that. But overall, it's such a fun time. I think there's so many things to like about this film.
Yeah.
That's why I had to create its own little subsection.
I do think in a vacuum, it's hard not to acknowledge a lot of those things. But given the context of the time period and everything else, I do think they managed to do a really good job with how it aged.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
Nothing really stands out as like super creepy and incredibly inappropriate. It's just like squishy.
Yeah. And for the time, especially, it could have been way worse. And
So
I
much
think
worse.
at the time, it would actually have been viewed as super progressive.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, tell us more about the soft fab.
Oh, yeah. No, just basically all of that, all of what I just said. I really just think that it's a fun movie. I think it's really funny. I think that in its historical context, it's an incredibly important film.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone should watch it, and almost nobody has.
Yeah.
Like, people watch Trading Places and, like, somehow miss this one because this is the rom-com, I guess. I'm not really sure what it is.
In terms of like the Eddie Murphy body of work, this is a very important film to watch.
And also just Arsenio Hall. Young Arsenio Hall is so good in this as well.
And also, what a treat to see James Earl Jones.
Literally.
Like, who doesn't love him?
King. So I think that there's so much good good in this film, and the fact that I still will watch it every single year and it'll be delightful every year is enough for me to give it the fab.
Yeah, that says a lot.
That brings us to
our favorite section.
Yeah.
Give
me the cheese, please. All right, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay. Let's go.
3, 2, 1. Aged mild cheddar.
Oh,
fun.
Very nice.
Yay. Okay.
Did I go the last time?
I don't know.
I'll go.
Okay.
Since it's your birthday, you can go last.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Yay, the final button. Okay, so Lunchables. Fun fact, Lunchables were released in 1988.
Oh.
The same year as this film.
Yeah.
That was a happy coincidence. That was not intentional when I picked this. But
perfect though.
So, like I've been talking about, right? It's as though you're being introduced to Lunchables as an adult. Still super fun. So cute. The little crackers, the little cut up pieces of cheese and meats and whatever, and the packaging. Like, how much fun. So sweet. But it doesn't have the same effect on an adult as it would for a kid getting this for the first time in their lunchbox in the 80s.
No, yeah.
Are you freaking kidding me? I'm sure it's so ingrained. It's so part of so many people's core memory. Getting Lunchables, like, it's such an iconic thing.
I've went to get some as an adult, and they're not good, but
No.
I'll literally choke down a Lunchable for the nostalgia. I'm not even kidding you.
I've never even had Lunchables, but I just know them because it's so ingrained in pop culture and everything. I can imagine what it would feel like to open your lunchbox as a kid and receive a Lunchable, and that it was such a big thing. But I don't know that, well, you said you didn't enjoy one as an adult, and so while I can see how it would be so much fun, it doesn't have the same weight. And that's just unfortunately how I came to this film.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure I would have a very different experience of this film having watched it when I was a kid myself, you know?
Yeah.
And it's nothing against the film. It's just, if it's not part of your core memory,
it doesn't hit the same.
It doesn't hit the same. Like, I'm sure there are films that are part of my core memory that won't hit the same for you or for anyone else. And, like, that's just unfortunately how it is.
Yeah, no, we already did this. I have a real problem with You've Got Mail.
I mean, I had problems with that one too.
Yeah. But I didn't have enough nostalgia
to
save it in any way.
So, yeah. Lunchables.
All right. So I've chosen aged mild cheddar.
Yay.
I'm thinking the kind that has been aged so long that it's quite firm. It's a nice meaty bite. And for me, it was fun because it's like, this is Eddie Murphy's first real meaty role, not just like a fluffy piece where he's kind of playing a caricature.
Yeah.
He's still playing a caricature, but he's been given a lot more emotional depth. And it's because he also had a lot of input on the character and the forming of the script.
His character had way more emotional range than a lot of his other characters do.
And I also wanted to go with something really aged because I do believe that, all things considered, this film is older than me and it aged incredibly well. So I just think that that's important to note, that like we have a lot of films that are older and do way worse.
Oh yeah, and that aren't as old.
Yeah, literally. There's films from like 2004 that don't age this nicely.
Yeah.
For real.
Absolutely.
So
I think this is the oldest one we've covered, right?
Is this older than When Harry Met Sally?
I'm not sure.
I think that must be at least a couple years older.
We'll
look it up. And lastly, just, you know, a good cheddar. Like, it's not the sharpest. It's not the most ha-ha-ha film. It's from the 80s. The pacing is significantly different in films from the 80s. So it's not a laugh a minute. So I can't give this a sharp cheddar.
Yeah.
But I do think it's a good bite. It's got great flavor. It's that cheesy cheese you know and love and want in your mouth. And it's hard to be mad at it. It's just a good bite. And for those reasons, this is my aged mild cheddar.
Yay.
Yeah. Well, everybody, there you have it. That was our discussion of my birthday choice episode
Yay.
coming to America.
Let us know your thoughts on the movie, any shenanigans we may have missed, or what cheese you think it is.
You can follow us on Instagram at shenanigansensuepod, or you can email us at shenanigansensuepod@gmail.com. Also, in honor of American Thanksgiving, we are taking an extra week. So, we'll see you back on December 11th.
We hope you'll join us next time, and until then,
All I care about is you. Bye.
Bye.
35.
35 and still alive. 35 and still alive.
Let's go.
Look, aging is a privilege denied to many, so yay.
Oh, I'm excited about aging. I'm fine with it.
I want some of that to rub off on me.
Yeah, dude.
I found my first grey hair, and I had a little bit of a panic.
No, you earned that shit, queen.